from Spectrum Lanes in Wyoming, Michigan, near Grand Rapids, ESPN presents live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour. It's the Great Lakes Classic. Today we bring you the final standard event of the 05-06 season with a twist. Now the four finalists are ready to roll.
He's a PBA Hall of Famer with 32 career Denny's PBA Tour titles. Today he looks for his second title of the season from St. Anne, Missouri, Pete Weber.
PDW is living proof you can't keep a good man down. After losing a heartbreaker to Walter Ray Williams Jr. last week in Indy, he's rebounded nicely, and today looks to take home title number 33.
You don't have to wonder no more. PDW is back.
He's the reigning PBA Player of the Year. Today he makes his career-high 6th television appearance of the season. From Tarrytown, New York, Patrick Allen.
PA has proved that last season's Player of the Year honor was no fluke. With his 6th show of the season, this is no flash in the pan. This is a full-blown 4-alarm fire.
This three-time titleist is making his 4th television appearance of the season. He's looking for his first title since 2003. From Flower Mound, Texas, Patrick Healey Jr.
After a dramatic round of 8 win over Jeff Carter in 7 games, Pat Healey's reward? A matchup with longtime rival and fellow Wichita State alum, Chris Barnes.
Oh, yeah!
Last year's U.S. Open champion is gunning for his first title of the season and the 7th of his career. From Flower Mound, Texas, Chris Barnes.
Chris Barnes has already run a gauntlet of superstars to make the show. In match play, he beat the number 2 player in the world and 2 Hall of Famers, and today looks to win for the first time since last season's U.S. Open. Maybe it's my day. Yes! 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 Yes!
These are your finalists competing for the title of the 2006 Great Lakes Classic.
The PBA returns to Spectrum Lanes for the 8th time. 5th year in a row we've been to this bowling center near Grand Rapids. Tommy Jones won here last season. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has a title here. In 2001, none other than Pete Weber won here in Wyoming. Our 4 finalists got this far with wins in the round of 8. 3 of the 4 matches went to a 7th and final game. Pete Weber outlasted non-exempt bowler Jeff Lizzie, who came so close to earning a real shot at an exemption for next year. Chris Barnes knocked off Walter Ray Williams Jr. in 7, ending a 3 TV show streak for Walter and delaying his bid for a record 42nd career title. The Patricks, Allen and Healey Jr. beat Tim, Chris, and Jeff Carter respectively. So PA, PDW meet for the first time ever on TV, and the former Wheat Shockers, Barnes and Healey Jr. head-to-head. Hello and welcome, bowling fans, to Western Michigan. Glad you could join us today. We're in for a special show. Dave Ryan, joined by Randy Peterson as usual, and Norm Duke, PBA superstar, 7 times on TV this year to lead the tour with us as well.
Well, thank you. This is exciting for me. I'm glad to be here.
Going to be a great show, folks. Also, in addition to Norm as our special commentator all day long, all 3 matches, both semis and the final, we'll show to you uninterrupted. Randy, let's start with you. Pete Weber, a great week last week, makes the final of the World Championship, but loses out to Walter Ray Williams Jr. Had to be devastating, but as only PDW can, he bounces back on TV this week.
Because he's a great champion, and certainly it's always disheartening to finish second, especially in a major, but Pete's consolation prize, $50,000. He actually thought about not bowling this week, Dave. The wife Tracy said, hey Pete, wouldn't another 40 grand be great? Pete said, yeah, you've got a point. Being the great champion that he is, he rebounded nicely.
All right, Norm, let's turn to you and talk about our lone lefty of the show, PA Patrick Allen. 6th TV show of the year, that's a career high. But as you know from winning player of the year, rebounding the next season can be tough.
It's difficult, and with this lineup, his work is cut out for him. But I did cross next to Patrick Allen this week, and his strikes were the loudest by far, and he had a lot of them. this shot helped propel him to victory in Mechanicsburg. PA looking for title number 2 on the season. And look, Dave, he looks real comfortable holding that trophy up.
Norm, you are right about that. Our second semifinal matches 2 bowlers from the same development in the Dallas Metroplex. Chris Barnes, Patrick Healey Jr. They live about 2 miles apart and have bowled as teammates at Wichita State in college. Then Team USA all over the world. Now they're head-to-head here today on the Denny's PBA Tour in Wyoming, Michigan, near Grand Rapids. A great Final 4 set for you. Hard to imagine on the Denny's PBA Tour we have 14 one-time winners this year, including the first 2 semifinalists. Just won 1 tournament, Pete Weber and Patrick Allen here at Spectrum Lanes in Wyoming, Michigan. That could change today, depending on who wins our championship. Randy, let's check the oil we'll be playing on today.
39 feet, chameleon pattern. Pete Weber, boy, he's going to play him completely different than all of our other players. He's going to be way inside, and he's going to be opening up the entire lane. Patrick Allen, last year's player of the year, well, he's going to be doing what PA does best. That's piping it straight up first arrow, letting the back ends take the ball to the pocket. And Norm Duke, my great friend and neighbor from Claremont, Florida, thanks again for being with us in the booth. And I've got to ask you, who do you think has the advantage in this match?
Well, because Patrick Allen is the lone left-hander, I give the advantage to him. But one thing about Pete Weber, when he's playing that deep inside angle, he's always comfortable there.
That's his gravy, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
PDW gets us underway. 9
That's a wonderful
Pete.
way to start.
Almost leaves a stone 7-9. And Norm,
Wonderful way to start.
well, that's not that bad, is it?
Well, I couldn't have said it better. That's a wonderful way to start. That's Pete's disposition already.
3rd show of the year for Pete. Takes care of his mark. He won in Hammond, Indiana, taking his 32nd career title. And of course, last week came so close to what would have been a record-tying 8th major, but lost to Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the final. World Championship winner from a year ago in Ypsilanti at Eastern Michigan University, the campus there. Patrick Allen, lone lefty of the show, from just outside New York City, but is building a new house in the Tampa, St. Pete area. Hopes to move in to by the end of the summer. Some rain help. Nice start, Norm, for PA.
Yeah, and you know, Pete gets the bad break out of the first shot. Patrick Allen gets the good break.
Check in now, guys, with the Ace Hardware matchup. Weber, so many titles. Patrick Allen coming off that brilliant season. They've never met on TV, Randy.
Well, Pete Weber, bunch of titles. Patrick Allen, last year's reigning player of the year. Still got to give the edge to Pete Weber, I think, even though Norm likes PA because he's a lone left-hander.
Well, you know, I'm interested to see. Both of these players are so intense. Which one will be intense first?
Excellent question. Asked them both that yesterday. It'll help. Almost on the 7-pin as the scout went across the deck there. And Patrick's point to us was, in our meeting, sometimes I don't want to create emotion if it's not there. I'll match the moment if I've got to.
And right now, 2 great breaks, and it seems like he's either throwing it too hard, maybe his too geared up, maybe he's too hyped up, but comes in light, trips the 3-pin, and then comes in light there and avoids the split. You know, the big thing for the left side when talking to Patrick Allen and talking to Mike Scroggins is that the lanes seem to get really, really tight come TV day. What do you see out there, Norm?
Well, I think you're exactly right. They will tighten up for the players. More so on the left side than the right, just because of the play. But more than anything, it might just be that even though it's 6 shows for the year, Weber's fresh off of one and Patrick's reserved from television for a couple of weeks.
Have not seen Patrick on TV since February 5th. Look at the numbers.
Chances throwing it there.
3rd this year, 2nd ever in total TV appearances behind Walter Ray. Just the 4 for Pete.
Come on.
Both of these players just trying to get comfortable at this point, and lucky that neither of them are down in the match.
I misspoke. Actually, Earl Anthony did have more TV appearances, singles, in his career. 113. So Pete 3rd, 108 today, and he's 2nd all time in wins behind Walter Ray, who's got 133 TV wins in his great career. How did Pete get this far? We talked about it, top of the broadcast, those highlights. Jeff Lizzie was not anywhere near the exempt number of 37. We'll break down the exemption list for you later today and show you a very dramatic feature on the players who did and did not make it. Blaise Bedoya and Danny Wiseman, who missed the number, but is exempt after winning the Masters last year. All 10 down for Pete.
And Jeff Lizzie, Norm, not even a full-time player anymore, but pulled very well, made match play at the U.S. Open and made match play at last week's World Championships, and almost tried to pull off what his brother-in-law, Del Ballard, did a couple of months ago, and that's make the show and try to get back an exemption.
Right, and you know, these players, as you say, they're not full-time, so I don't think that they're experiencing near the fry factor that some of these players that have been out all year. But with Jeff Lizzie and his talent, that doesn't surprise me.
Asked Jeff last night if he will participate in the Tour Trials. Not sure yet. He liked that from release. Patrick Allen, we saw he won in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania in December. He defeated Mika Koivuniemen by 26 pins in the semifinal. Then Tom Baker in the finals, 247-218.
Norm, what'd you see different here besides the ball looking like it was on a better line to the pocket?
Well, he was freer on his arm swing. He talked in an interview yesterday about his key being grip pressure. Too much grip pressure locks his swing up. He doesn't enjoy the accuracy that he's accustomed to. That looked a lot freer swing there.
Road to TV. Over the Turtle. Tim Chris in 5 in the round of 8. Steve Jarris, defending Dexter Tournament of Champions winner. And Michael Haugen Jr. did not make the cut either. All 10 down for PA. Patrick Allen told us last night, guys, for him, really a dream come true to be able to bowl against Pete Weber on TV. This is their first ever television matchup, and as a youngster growing up in the New York City area, would pretend he was bowling Pete in those little mock matches you do as a kid, and now here he is, Normie.
Do it right.
Well, with all of the fanfare with Patrick Allen and Pete Weber, this is one match that I've been looking forward to seeing.
16th time, back-to-back shows for Pete. Now hook. What a did hook at the very end of the 39-foot pattern, and Pete puts the glasses down, the trademark shades. And Pete told us several years ago he started using because of the bright lights for television. Now they're good luck.
That's quite a bit right on the last shot he threw on that lane. And you know what? A couple more years for Pete Weber out here, Norman, we may have to get him some bifocal sunglasses.
From just outside St. Louis, St. Anne, Missouri, Pete comes to us again and stops in mid-flow there. Got distracted?
Maybe it was the glare in the sunglasses and...
Did I balk? I balked.
Well, something caught him. Not sure what it was, but something distracted Pete.
Right, that's the first time I've ever seen Pete Weber stop in mid-stride.
Right. I don't think I've ever seen it in 25 years out here.
Wow. Let's see how he recovers then from that moment. Quite well, thank you. One strike in the 1-3 pocket is how he responds. And he takes the lead.
And Norm, the thing that I think that makes Pete Weber so great is his release. I don't think there's ever been a release quite like Pete Weber's out here, where his fingers literally get on the inside of the bowling ball. He flips that ball off of his hand. His fingers are pointing straight to the ceiling, and he creates a tremendous amount of axis rotation.
Side roll, as I call it, exactly. And, you know, conversely, Patrick Allen has so much acceleration through the impact of the shot, a lot less side turn, but more acceleration. That would be the difference.
PA tries to regain the lead here with a turkey of his own. Instead has the 3.
Boy, and this could very easily be a runaway after 5 frames with PA going split, split, double split. And instead, with the conversion here, he only trails by 10 as, again, another shot comes up light.
He did seem to reach a lot longer on that shot than the 2 previous. Like his hand was in the ball a little long.
So what do you do to correct that, Norm?
Well, I think it's the same thing, Randy, with the grip pressure. If you squeeze it, you have to let go of it then.
So the key for him, like you said, is to keep his swing or his grip pressure nice and soft, which then in turn helps to keep his swing nice and relaxed.
Well, sure, and that's easy, you know, easier said than done when you're in the bright lights and your hands are sweating and it's hard to hold on to the ball.
It truly is an environment that is very tough to explain or convey to the viewing audience. If you've never been there, kind of tough to explain it.
10-pin deficit here for PA. Great Lakes Classic live coverage. Denny's PBA Tour here on ESPN. We'd like to thank Dexter and all of our PBA sponsors for helping bring you this match without interruption. For the first time all season. And we've got our special commentator Norm Duke with us for the entire day. We're glad to have Normie join us in the booth. PBA superstar watching two big names head-to-head here. What a match we've got going. We have Randy and Norm with you from just outside Grand Rapids, Michigan. Final standard event of our 05-06 season, leading up to next week's Dexter Tournament of Champions. Fourth and final major. Back to Pete, looks for the four-bagger. Has it!
Yeah, now he's really putting the touch on it, Norm, because he's getting it to peel off of that spot and really face up strong in the 1-3 pocket.
Good shot. Well, no doubt, and the shot before was a little errant on his standard. Got a strike out of it. That's the easiest thing there for a player to do, is rebound off of one of those and make it look like a four-bagger.
Now it goes for 5 straight. Seventh frame. Oh, he knew it was going to come in high. And it did.
Got around it early, just like Pete said. He thumbed down. He got around it early. Looked like he got the ball into the swing a little quick, which made it get to the bottom of the swing early, Norm. And when you do that, the ball is almost always left of target and a little slower.
Exactly. Tough spare.
All right.
Does cover. He told us after the disappointment from last week, he did bowl his game in the final against Walter Ray. Came very close to winning another major. Instead, Walter Ray took the limelight, $100,000, a 4-season exemption. And he tied Earl Anthony's all-time record, 41 titles. His wife, Tracy, behind Pete to his left there. Watching as usual. Pete's most loyal fan. PA looks for the double down, 17. Yes! Make it a 7-pin deficit. ESPN's coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour rolls on next Sunday. As we told you about, coverage of the Dexter Tournament of Champions. The greatest bowlers in the world go to Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino, Uncasville, Connecticut. Final standard event of our season. 1 o'clock Eastern time. For more, log on ESPN.com. $100,000 guys on the line. 2-season exemption. Steve Jarros tried to defend his title.
Yeah, and the guy sitting next to me actually cost me a lot of money in that tournament last year, and Norm won. I'm going to try to get some of that back on the golf course this summer, just so you know.
Bring the strokes.
Turkey try here for PA. Come on! We've got a great match here, folks. And there's the emotion we promised you from Patrick Allen.
And there's your new leader. And that 7 count that Pete Weber left in the last frame has enabled Patrick Allen to get up and strike out and lock this thing up. He can strike out, shoot 259. Come on! Did you like that one, Norm?
Yes, I know he liked that one. And such an important shot. You don't want to let Pete Weber get to a big advantage early.
That had to really hurry and came in a little bit light on a 2-pin after he was high in the last shot on the other lane. So now a 4-pin deficit here late in the match. Uninterrupted coverage of our semifinals and final today. And Pete, who's had incredible fortune in this very bowling center, the 299 game we all remember, 2001 in October, left the 4-pin trying for his 12th straight strike in the perfect game. Steve Wilson, he beat by a single pin, then Parker Bone III in the final. There is that stat for you here at Spectrum Lanes. Pete has never bowled 300 on TV. Not one of the 16 who have done it. That's a perfect shot.
I think Pete was distracted a little bit there. How that ball went high flush, I do not know.
Well, the scenario is simple. Pete sets up the 10th frame with a strike there. He can now strike out to shoot 245. Patrick Allen strikes here in the 9th, the 10th. He'll need good count and a spare in the 11th, and he will shut out Pete Weber. He has a possible 259. One here, one in the 10th, and good count.
Great shot.
There's one he needed. And the lead balloons to 14 pins.
He doesn't strike on this ball. Pete Weber can get up and take this right away from him, Norm.
Well, and the last thing you want to do is to give Pete Weber a chance to double or strike one time to beat you, because he is one of the best that has ever walked the line in clutch situation.
I'll take it. I'm taking Reyes.
Reyes here. He'll take his time.
And I think
Strike and 9 was what he needs.
I think Patrick Allen knows this. If he does not strike on this shot, in his mind, Weber's going to get up and beat him. So this is for the match.
That is huge. He has the strike, now he needs the 9 to shut out Pete and advance to the final.
And very surprised that that hooked up. You heard him say this. As soon as he let go of it, he said, really? That's got a hook.
Well,
and it did.
He leaked it a little bit. He got plenty of hand in it. He knew it had to hook to strike. Thought maybe he was going to leave a 7-pin there. Notice he did not expend his energy there. He needs another one. He's keeping himself reserved.
Great point, Norm.
I think he didn't expend any energy because he was surprised it struck.
Maybe so.
Maybe we'll see the emotion now. Needs 9.
Find a way, Hoss.
Wow.
Has 9.
That's enough.
And that will shut out Pete. First ever.
That was a little left.
Head-to-head matchup between.
That was in the weeds.
Two of our great stars in the Denny's PBA Tour. Patrick Allen, Pete Weber will go to PA. He'll take on the winner of the Barnes-Healey Jr. other semifinal here today, and a bid for his 7th career title. Patrick told us last night, beating Pete, a little bit like trying to take down John McEnroe in tennis or the Oakland Raiders in football, kind of the bad boy or bad team of that respective sport. That is what Pete certainly represents here. So flamboyant.
Like I said, was a good one.
This is over, but Pete will finish up. And again, for a 2nd straight week, a bid for a 33rd career title will fall a little bit short.
And you know Patrick Allen is feeling great about this. He got to dream about bowling Pete Weber on television all of his life. It took him a while in order to get matched up with him, but to win.
It was an honor, bro. It was an honor. A childhood dream.
Thank you. Nice ball. Good luck, guys.
A 3-pin victory for PA Patrick Allen, the reigning Chris Schenkel Player of the Year winner. Now he'll take on the winner of Barnes-Healey Jr. in the 2nd semifinal. More to come. Great first semifinal. Patrick Allen, 248-245, a win over PDW Pete Weber in a tremendous matchup. Patrick Allen takes on the winner of Patrick Healey Jr. and Chris Barnes. That's our 2nd semifinal coming up. This week there was drama, pressure, intensity facing many bowlers trying to gain or to keep their exempt status for next year. So much on the line for them.
I mean, that cut line is your life.
And because of that, I don't have a job next year.
The Denny's PBA Tour cut line. For some, the toughest and most grueling aspect of this sport. Many had 11th hour attempts this week.
It's a terrible feeling to have, you know, your job on the line. I don't think any other sport is as stringent as the tour is right now.
Doing this for 20 years, and it stinks. It really does.
Some of the names on the outside looking in. Dave Traber, who's won 3 PBA titles, including a major. 2004 Denny's PBA Tour Rookie of the Year, Chris Johnson, who finished number 40. And Paul Fleming, the 99 Rookie of the Year, who finished number 38, missing by 1 spot.
I thought it was a pretty disappointing season. For bowling is as good as I thought I bowled. And
It's just been a long year. I mean,
It's only 20 weeks long, but it seems like it's 3 times that long. You can't have a bad segment. You can't have 4 or 5 weeks in a row where you either bowl bad or things don't go the way they need to. And if that happens, you're behind the 8 ball instantly. And that's where I felt like I was all year. It's just so hard. I mean, I'll probably go home and sleep for a week. I'm just beat emotionally, mentally, physically, everything.
Well, it's been a grind, especially when you have your brother with you and knowing that his fate's on the line too and you can maybe control it. Well, I really haven't bowled that bad. I struggled at the beginning, made 1 show, but when you make the cut and then you lose the points, it doesn't reward you. Well, very disappointed. I mean, I don't want to go through the trials again, and unfortunately I have to.
For those who made it, the ultimate relief, a job for next season.
You just want to prove yourself that you can do it. All I wanted is 1 tour win. That's all I wish. I know it's not that easy.
It's a really good feeling to be able to go into next year knowing that I'm pretty much 100% back.
There are the numbers. Dale Traber in, Paul Fleming out. Paul, former Rookie of the Year, who made a show last in Denver last season. And players like Tom Baker in after winning the World Championship a couple years ago. Randy, you know very well from your situation as a bowler, a lot of pressure, so much drama this week for a lot of bowlers.
Yeah, you know, back in 03-04 was probably the toughest year I ever had to endure. I bowled lousy, and trying to do the telecast every Sunday and knowing that I was going to lose my tour card. And you know, my heart certainly goes out to the guys that missed, but you know, there is other ways to still get out here for them via tour trials and regional exemptions. So but again, it's a brutal thing to have happen to you, and it's an awful place, and my heart goes out to those players.
Well, Patrick Healey Jr. knows about winning the Dexter Tournament of Champions. Did that a couple years ago in Uncasville, Connecticut, against our Randy Peterson.
Another guy that cost me a bunch of money.
Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, our final major of the season comes your way. Live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour here on ESPN. Steve Jarris won it a year ago. And remember Jason Couch, first ever to win 3 in a row. A couple of former Wichita State shockers go head-to-head. It's Healey Jr., Chris Barnes. To see who takes on Patrick Allen. Uninterrupted coverage is next. Welcome back, everyone. Sundays are for bowling. Spectrum Lanes, Wyoming, Michigan, near Grand Rapids. Great Lakes Classic. Live coverage. The Denny's PBA Tour here on ESPN. With Ryan Randy Peterson, as usual, joined special occasion today by Norm Duke, 23-time titleist and the tour leader in TV appearances. Glad to have Norm alongside, and these two gentlemen will break down this week's Dexter approach.
All righty, well, 2 of the best games out here on tour. Notice the difference in posture. Patrick Healey's got a little crouch. Chris Barnes on top, nice and straight. Late in the swing, high back swing for Chris Barnes. Patrick Healey, a little shorter swing, a little bit more deliberate into the swing. And then both just fantastic finishes. And Norm, if you had your choice, which one of these games would you copy?
Both, and the reason is their follow-through. Neither of them have an over-accelerated follow-through. Neither of them decelerate. It's just paced. Love it.
Well, what does that create? I mean, a nice paced follow-through, what does that do for them?
Well, you know, what it creates is consistency. You don't have something that is manipulated at the bottom.
Guys, let's go on the road with the Denny's PBA Tour. First place check for $100,000. The 2 season exemption on the line. At the fabulous Mohegan Sun Arena next week, as we told you about Dexter Tournament of Champions, April 5th through the 9th. Pro-Am's going on at Bradley Bowl in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Then the Motel 6 Roll to Riches, Sunday, April 23rd, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The main event, Louisville, Texas, in the Dallas Metroplex. Wow, that's a big event. Some of our great bowlers going for a PBA record $200,000. When we come back, Patrick Healey Jr., Chris Barnes, old rivals, we'll tell you about it head-to-head next. We are set. Patrick Allen awaiting a winner of the Healey Jr. match head-to-head with Chris Barnes. Now, guys, let's break down the old pattern for our second semifinal.
Well, the length of the pattern was still 39 feet, but after a game bowled and some practice, the ball's moving down the lane. And Norm,
Chris Barnes said he was going to play out, that his game plan was to look for some friction around the first arrow, and if it was there, so be it. If it wasn't, he'd make an adjustment. Pat Healey, when he started the practice session, was going pretty straight up 8, 9, 10. I look for them, though, if that's not there, to just migrate in. What do you think?
I think you're exactly right. They're going to have to, because all the players have been throwing their shots outside of the first arrow, and the bowling balls are reacting too soon, and the carry is inconsistent. He who migrates left gets the ball longer down the lane, power into the pins, Randy.
From just outside Dallas, and a neighbor, as it turns out, same development as Chris Barnes, Patrick Healey Jr. Again, originally from Niagara Falls, New York, also spends much of his time in Mexico City, Mexico. His wife Teresa and stepson Victor are there. Patrick wanted to make sure he sent a special greeting out to Victor. He and Teresa will be joining Patrick at the Dexter Tournament of Champions next week in Connecticut. Chris Barnes, also from Flower Mound, originally from Topeka, Kansas. And as we told you, Wichita State alum. Wow. Comes in high. It's way right on the verge of the channel there.
Exactly what we were talking about,
Right.
Randy. He got that ball right early, hit that friction spot, and watch how hard that ball hooked.
And I got to assume that that was further right than he wanted it. I mean, look at that thing overhooked from out there.
Came in high, but little damage done. Just a single pin conversion for Barnes. And the spare ball takes care of it.
You know, Dave, this is a very intriguing matchup because, like you said, it's two guys that spent a lot of time together through college, Team USA, the collegiate ranks, high roller events, amateur events, and now on the tour. And you know, it's hard to give the nod to either guy because Chris Barnes has struggled on television and Pat Healey is 0 for 4 his last 4 trips out.
High flush strike for Chris Barnes, who, yes, has had his TV troubles. Is 1-11 in his last 12 TV shows. However, Norm, the one win was at the U.S. Open last year, his first major.
Oh, big win, too, and that'll do a lot for your confidence.
You know, and Dave, if you're going to give a shout out to Victor, you should at least do it in Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo estás, Victor?
Well done. Here's his stepdad. 2-pin for Patrick Healey Jr.
It looked kind of mushy out of his hand, didn't it, Norm? Like he didn't have a whole lot on that?
Well, I think they're both afraid to get the ball to the right early, afraid it might hook high on them. Again, migrating left allows you to get your hand in the ball and leak the ball to the right. Right now, I think we've got a little confusion by both of them.
And it's both on the same line, apparently.
There's his mark. Last time we saw Patrick Healey Jr. on TV, Parkersburg, West Virginia. He lost in the semifinal. See his road to TV this week. Del Traber guys did make the cut. We saw that feature a few moments ago. The exempt list, Carter, non-exempt bowler, 7-game win for Healey Jr. in round 8.
But he will be exempt next year. Congratulations to Jeff Carter. He won his region. He gets an exemption next season. And boy, has his arm swing been loose the last couple of weeks out here.
I tell you, it makes a big difference not having to bowl for that exemption.
Much better shot, all 10 down for Patrick Healey Jr. The collegiate All-American at Wichita State back in '88. Amateur bowler of the year in this country, 91, 92, and 95. World Am of the Year in 95 and 96. So incredible accomplishments, the amateur ranks for Patrick Healey Jr. Great match early on.
Watch how steady Chris Barnes' head is all throughout this swing. His eyes will never leave that target.
Somehow, the 8 stays up, but Normie's not getting the ball reaction he wants.
Well, at least not on the right lane. Randy makes a good point. We haven't seen a miss yet on the left lane by either of these two. The right lane, no one has struck.
Chris Barnes, being the higher seed of the two, gets to finish the match on the left lane.
Guys, at what point on that lane will he make the decision to come left a little bit? He's playing way outside, way right.
Well, he may not make that decision. In fact, he didn't make it there. He just made sure he kept it in the oil. May or may not have been the right adjustment. we really don't know how good he threw that shot.
Go to TV. How about the superstars he had to go through? What a gauntlet, as Randy told us top of the broadcast. Tommy Jones, the sure thing player of the year. And Lito Monticelli, Hall of Famer. Oh, by the way, Walter Ray Williams Jr., perhaps the hottest on the tour at the moment.
Yeah.
Fresh off the Worlds.
Combined 68 titles right there.
Not bad, right? Good week.
Murderer's Row.
And it's apparent that that's the good lane, Norman. You know, like you said, first shot on the right lane, Chris Barnes leaks it, goes high. Next shot, he gets it a little bit left of that and goes light. What adjustment needs to be made on the right lane?
Well, a good one, whatever it is. He has a plethora of adjustments he can utilize. It's just, there's the one that he picks, the right one.
8th year on tour, Patrick Healey Jr., 3 titles. Been a solid season, 17th ranked, but tip up. Hit it, yeah. Unable to break through with another win. He has not won since that Dexter Tournament of Champ title back in 2003. Wants to change that today.
This guy's a shot maker. Makes good shots, doesn't he, Norm?
He does, and it's hard to believe he hasn't won since 03.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
He prides himself in shot making. Both Patrick Healey Jr. and Chris Barnes, disciples of Fred Borden, arguably the best coach to ever live.
Arguably so. Not to mention their spare games are flawless.
Yeah. He likes that lane, doesn't he? 46 event drought without a title for Patrick Healey Jr., but perhaps that changes today.
Patrick's been working on doing exactly what he's doing here today, and that's going straighter up the lane. Says he feels much more comfortable doing that now, and you know it's showing. I mean, he's now a little bit more versatile, and he's not afraid to get out there and go straight when he has to.
Back to Barnes, winner of 6 PBA titles. Has all 10 down. That looked good. Chris told us last night what a relief it was to make the top 16 for the Japan Cup field to start next season. However, and I'll give Chris Barnes guys a lot of credit, he owns up to the fact on TV it's been one struggle after another, with the exception of the U.S. Open.
Right, and the record speaks for itself. 1 in 11, last 12 attempts. And that's, again, it's hard to believe with someone with his mental game.
Crossing over, almost a Brooklyn strike, way high. And a little baby split here with the 3 and the 10.
Just a bad shot. Looks like he pulls right out of this, Norm.
No, it's a bad shot from the go, and he puts the whole match right in Patrick Healey Jr.'s hands.
Just as we were talking about mental fortitude, Norm, on cue with your comment, Barnes has a little issue. Multi-pin conversion numbers, almost perfect. Doesn't get this one, whiffs the 3. And an open frame. Is that ever critical?
And his struggles on television continue. But, you know, the one thing with all of the trouble that he's had on television, let's not forget one thing. That man right there is a bona fide superstar out on this tour, even with all the struggles on television. Could you imagine if he'd won half of the times where bad things went, or he threw it bad? I mean, this guy would have 15 titles already.
Look out, light hit there. Oh, he avoided the washout because the 10 fell late. Boy, that was lucky. Good break is right, Patrick. Now the 1-2.
That ball I want to pick up at all.
Just so uncharacteristic of Patrick Healey Jr. to miss the head pin when he could basically throw a sew-up shot there. Very lucky, only leaving the 1-2.
Does cover nicely. We'd like to thank Jackson Hewitt and all of our PBA sponsors for helping bring you this match without interruption. All 3 of our matches today, from start to finish, uninterrupted. Saw that in the first semifinal. Patrick Allen over Pete Weber. Now Barnes and Healey. And the door wide open for Chris Barnes after his mistake. Healey Jr. takes advantage. Didn't strike there, but does get his mark. 22-pin lead, 7th frame. perfect shot.
Yeah, much better there. Sometimes you know early in a game if you throw one big shot that it's just seemingly insurmountable for a guy like Barnes even. But, you know, it's harder to throw those shots. It's like the shots, a clutch shot already. It's only the 6th frame.
But, you know, with Patrick Healey finishing on the right lane, anything's still possible. I mean, this match certainly is not over, but Chris Barnes needs to strike, and he needs to strike now.
There's one.
And Norm, in my opinion, what Chris Barnes needs to think of right now, and his only thought should be, after that shot there, 1, 2, 3, 4 more quality shots. Period.
Exactly, period. Don't think about the past or what your opponent is going to do. Just get up and do your job.
Chris, in something he said he's never done before, promised his twin boys, nearly 4 years old, they'll be 4 next month, Ryan and Troy, I will make the show this week for you guys. When he left them, he's done that. Now he's got the 9-pin to deal with. Needed a strike there, certainly.
And you can see all of those 12 championship round appearances that he's struggling. They're all materializing right now in his head.
That, to me, Norm's got to be the toughest thing as a bowler. You guys having to deal with that pressure.
No, it works on you.
Yeah.
And it builds and it builds.
Chris told us he really has felt the healthiest of the entire season. Remember, he missed 5 tournaments with a back injury. Strained his back in the off season. He said he's just been able to get back in the gym, do a full workout, get his cardio back, get his leg strength back to where it was. That's why he made the guarantee to his sons that he'd make the show. Felt confident he'd win it. However, open frame, hurting him badly.
Yeah, baby. What do you call that shot there, Norm? The sew-up shot? What was that?
Well, I don't think...
That's the sew-up shot just about, isn't it?
You know, I can't say that right now. Barnes is too good for me to count out at this point.
Yeah, but Healey's got a 32-pin lead.
Well, Chris is definitely going to need some help from Patrick Healey, but neither of the pros have looked really confident on the right lane, where Healey has to finish.
We're glad to be joined by Norm Duke in the booth today throughout the entire broadcast. Turkey trot, 9th frame. Yes, oh, that's a big one.
Now that's the sew-up shot.
That's the sew-up shot. Okay.
Now Norm agrees. 42-pin lead.
Yeah, way to stick your neck out there, buddy. Yeah, right there with me, huh?
Yeah, you know.
Well, Norm knows a thing or two about winning events, and a great season for Norm. First on the PBA Tour in points, Tommy Jones second. Number 2 in money. Barnes off the mark again, and his day is over. Second, Norm for an average behind Mike Scroggins. First in TV shows for the great Norm Duke. One more standard event coming, and then the Motel 6 Roll the Riches in the Dallas area to wrap up our season.
Of which Chris Barnes won last year.
That's correct. Took home the record $200,000. That is the purse available again this year in Dallas. We all look forward to seeing that coming up. But guys, how do you wrap up the week that Chris has had? We talk about the gauntlet he went through to get to the show, and now what must be bitter disappointment. Now keep in mind, folks, Chris has had trouble on TV, we know that. But Patrick Healey is one of his greatest rivals. They go way back to the college days.
15-year rivalry, and both of these players are as good as they are because of that rivalry. You know, it's really a benefit to have somebody all through your career. I was lucky to have Brian Voss with me the whole time, and both of us were better players because of it. I see the same thing in these two.
Norm, I didn't make enough TV shows to have a rivalry with anybody, but I'll just go with what you said.
Unbelievable. Well, unfortunately for Chris, he'll drop to 1-12 now in his last 13 TV appearances. He talked about as a technician. He is so sound in his game. He has the ability. But Norm, what do you think happened to Chris Barnes on TV day?
Well, I think half of it's circumstance. You know, There have been tournaments where Chris Barnes played his very best on Sunday and got beat. There are weeks that he played awful, and there are weeks that he gave it away. But, you know, right now it's just in his head. I don't think that there's anything he needs to do differently except go out and do his job.
So Patrick Healey Jr. will take on Patrick Allen in the finals. And Randy, we heard a moment ago from Chris Barnes was an apology because you and he were sending some text messages to each other this week, weren't you?
Yeah, we were. And Chris said, he said, hey, aren't you bowling this week? And I said, no, I'm not bowling this week. And he said, well, then I guess I'm just going to have to go out and win this one for you. You know, I told Chris that this was my last season. I'm moving on to bigger and better things and taking on a job with Storm. I'm still going to do the telecast if the PBA wants me back, obviously. Love to work with Norm and Dave again. But moving on, and my bowling career is pretty much done. And Chris said, well, let me go out and win this one for you.
That was a great career, Randy. We love watching you compete, of course. And now the lead just balloons here for Healey Jr. against his old rival. Way back to early 90s in college. Patrick, an All-American, 1988 at Wichita State.
And this bodes well for Healey in this next match because he's able to find the right lane, finish with 250. He's got the confidence. He just beat Chris Barnes. There's so many good things that just happen. Sometimes that momentum is what is required.
Great period, man.
Great to perform in the title match.
Thank you. Chris Barnes said he bowled the best he had all year this week to get to the semifinals. But Patrick Healey Jr. takes the matchup of former Wheat Shockers from Wichita State, and he'll battle Patrick Allen in the finals. Speaking of finals, we've got it for you. PBA Skills Challenge. Our very own Norm Duke. Our very own Tony Reyes. Head-to-head. You can't wait to watch this one. Big win for Patrick Healey Jr. semifinal, 258-188 over Chris Barnes. So now he and Patrick Allen go head-to-head for the championship here at the Great Lakes Classic. Speaking of titles, Norm Duke, Tony Reyes, Skills Challenge final. Here it is. We've worked our way to this point all year. It's the Denny's PBA Tour Skills Challenge final.
David's been with me a couple weeks now. He knows this is an occupational hazard type shot here.
Well, we'll be when I try this.
Dave said he was getting up.
I don't blame him.
Tony Reyes won the final frame over the holidays, and Norm Duke.
Please get through, he said.
A tour best 7 shows this year. Here comes a towel shot.
Going with last week's towel, it was lucky.
Oh, with a towel. Oh, shoot. Oh, uh-oh.
You don't have to strike, though, Tony. Just high count wins.
I'm sure they need to strike at least.
Wonder if Norm's going to let Tony use his towel.
He made it through the chair, okay. Not a great pin count, though. A relief for David.
Throwing last week's towel out.
I think, yeah, he should come off.
Our young assistant is relieved. Tony will not meet him down lane.
It's a good idea. I don't want to hurt people I bowled with last night.
Now.
No. All right. Pure humor. Okay.
See if Tony can match or beat Norm Duke. He needs 6 or better. Good luck, Tony.
Looks for the strike. Oh, gets the chair instead. And Duke is up 1 strike to none. 3 strikes wins this year's PBA Skills Challenge. He's so glad he wasn't down there.
I told you. I did not want to hurt you, all right?
Good move, Tony.
No, I wasn't. That's why I got you back.
We're relegated to towel shots from now on. You understand that?
The one-step approach, Randy. Signature shot for Tony all year.
He's real good at this. Now smooth, just like he's bowling on tour. Just like he's bowling the qualifier.
Nicely done. He's got a strike.
That's silly. I think you should bowl 1 step from now on. I believe me. A lot of people have told me that.
So Norm's got to match it. Got to have that strike. Otherwise, Tony gets a strike on the score sheet and ties the match.
Oh, no.
He gets 9. So it's 1 strike each. First to 3 wins it.
That's close.
Takes the title.
All I'm going to get right over and watch this.
Bang. You do it like that, you get it. You put these two here, you put them good, and you spin it. It's really important. Counter. Not clockwise. Counter.
Back to the old towel shot.
It's the standby for Normie.
Oh, hell, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn strike. Pressure's on Tony.
Do it like this and twist. Do it like that and twist.
Come over here.
Mercy.
Come over here.
Yeah, I go way out. And watch out behind you there.
At least you don't have that chair to interrupt you.
No, but I still have the lane and the gutter to worry about.
Tony looked like he was changing a diaper.
Oh, I like it.
Maybe. Only 7.
Man.
One gets a strike, leads 2-1.
We'll do the ramp shot here. I can't get the strike. Got to go over him. No under, just over.
With the skills challenge, title on the line, Tony needs it.
All right.
In one of his best shots, he gets 8 pins.
That's
9
nice.
or better for Norm, and he wins the title. Can he do it? You bet! 9 pins. He dethrones Chris Barnes as the PBA Skills Challenge champion. 3 strikes to 1 over Tony Reyes. Kick in the lanes, Norm Duke.
Norm, on behalf of the Professional Bowlers Association and the Denny's PBA Tour, it's my pleasure to present this winning check for the 2006 Skills Challenge in the amount of $20,000.
Norm Duke, congratulations. Job well done, my friend.
That was a great time.
It sure was. And he wins the $20,000 to boot as he takes the second ever PBA Skills Challenge. Head to the tour's official website, PBA.com, for all the latest news, information, fan polls. This week's poll will help complete the field for the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. The top 2 vote getters from a group of 14 PBA stars will be included in this high-stakes winner-take-all $200,000 event. So log on today and cast your vote, PBA.com. Norm, of course, will be one of those names in the voting, and we'll announce the 2 winners on next week's show. From the Mohegan Sun, the Dexter Tournament of Champions. Looking forward to that, our 4th and final major. We also look forward to the championship match today. Patrick Healey Jr. head-to-head with Patrick Allen. Special thanks to Sue and Mike Eaton, proprietors here at Spectrum Lanes in Wyoming, Michigan, near Grand Rapids. Let's check in with the Geico Championship recap. Semifinal number 1, Patrick Allen defeated Pete Weber 248-245. Needed a strike and 9 count to win the match. That's his first strike in the 10th, and it wrapped it up against PBW. Semifinal number 2, Patrick Healey Jr. knocked off Chris Barnes easily, 258-188. Healey Jr. looks for his first title since the Dexter Tournament of Champions championship back in 2003. Sets up a great championship match for the 2006 Denny's PBA Tour Great Lakes Classic. Randy joined by the finalists.
Patrick, look, I'm the meat in a Patrick sandwich. All right, seriously. Patrick got a lot of great looking strikes in the first match. Your only bad shots were light. What adjustments do you make?
Well, the reason why those shots were light, I just didn't stay behind the ball long enough, so it kind of shot out to the left. Patrick bowled a great game. I'm going to have to stay behind a couple more shots to hopefully win the title.
Thanks, Patrick. Patrick, you haven't won since '03. What do you have to do today to change that?
Well, I have to, bowl a game close to what I did the first game. Keep up with the lanes; they're changing now, and and hopefully have a break or 2.
Thanks, Patrick. Dave Ryan. Battle of the Patricks coming up next.
That it is, Randy. It's 1-1 in the all-time series, head-to-head on TV. We'll watch that right lane. Big key for Healey Jr. coming up. Great final for you, Great Lakes Classic. Spectrum Lanes just outside Grand Rapids, Michigan, the final standard event of the 05-06 Denny's PBA Tour season. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, Norm Duke. I'm in the midst of greatness here. Randy with his 13 titles en route.
Yes, you are.
To the Hall of Fame. And Norm, one Hall of Fame will go to the PBA Hall of Fame soon. He's won 23 career titles. And how about the most TV finals in the last 3 years? Well, PA's in the final here, and our Norm Duke, 15 appearances, along with Chris Barnes, who just got KO'd in the semifinals. That's a nice run for you, Norm.
That is a nice run for me. This would be number 16.
Yeah, but Norm, this is number 20 for me.
Nice.
Thank you.
Again, Patrick Healey Jr. breakthrough with a win. First time in 3 years. We find out now the final. Yeah, nice start.
You know, one of the things about Patrick Allen in my book is he's strategically smart. And he is the higher seed, has elected to force Patrick Healey Jr. to finish on the right lane. The score didn't tell the full story, I don't think, last game. I think Patrick's best lane would be the left.
Great new angle. Watching PA, the lone lefty. Smash all 10 down into the pit, leading us to the final Ace Hardware matchup, gentlemen, of the day. PA trying for his second title this year. It's been a long time for the other Patrick. 2003 since his last win, Randy.
Well, you know, Norm said it best. He thought that PA had the advantage, being the lone lefty and being a very smart player and knowing how to set up the lanes for himself. Pat Healey did shoot 258, but I think Norm is right. I think that even though Patrick Healey struck out on the right lane, that right lane is still suspect if you're a right-hander. Advantage, Patrick Allen.
I agree.
That one off his hand and got a nice break on the 7, the late trip.
That's not a messenger. We like to refer to that as the Bohemian Huff and Puff.
That's one of those loud strikes I was talking about.
Watch this. It's like nothing hits it and it goes down. Hence the Bohemian Huff and Puff.
Huff and Puff. Yeah. I get you now.
Yeah. That's a great thing to have happen to you too, by the way.
Back to Healey Jr. Yeah, baby. Nice ball reaction there. 39-foot chameleon pattern. Patrick, his wife Teresa, stepson Victor watching at a friend's house in Mexico City. Not all houses are wired up for live ESPN cable coverage, but the neighbors do have it, so they're watching as we speak. Victor, a very good student in high school, just finishing up down in Mexico. May come to the States to attend college, study engineering. He's a very good soccer player, midfielder on his soccer club down there.
Steady head. Love it.
Are you kidding?
Wow. 8-pin.
Okay, that was pretty good, I think.
Yeah, awfully good, Patrick.
That was pretty close.
I'll say.
Wow. Not what you want to see happen in a title match. Ever.
Somehow the 8 didn't go down. Either by pin or the ball itself. But there it is for the mark. Patrick tells us in the offseason he's very close to
That was pretty close.
agreeing on a property to start a bowling business in Mexico City because the demand is there. So many people want to get into the sport, but not a lot of high-level instruction. So maybe a bowling academy. He'll do some coaching, have a pro shop.
Come on. You feel good, you got to feel good too.
As PA's got to match it. So for Patrick Healey, that could be his career. Full-time down the road, he says. It's all about Grand Rapids today, though. And Norm, PA did match it, didn't he?
Well, it's the exact same shot as Patrick Healey Jr. threw. Separate sides of the lane, but they're both supposed to be 10 in the pit.
Yeah, that's just 10 back.
He looks as if he's not that proud of that shot. But
Boy, I'd be proud of that.
I liked it.
Give me 12 of those every game. I'd be real proud.
Yeah, I hate to mention it early, but no 300 games this week. None yet.
Head-to-head on TV, as we talked about, 1-1.
That may be what he was expecting the shot before that, Norm. That one comes in a little bit high and leaves a 6-pin and
Probably so. That one was definitely right of target. Needed to hold. Did a little. He's left with a 6-pin. That's not so bad.
I mean, he constantly talks about prying it off, meaning just get it off your hand clean so that the ball can go on the intended line, hit the target, hit the pocket, and look at it. Wow.
Has his single pin conversion. Now, gentlemen, I'm interested in getting your opinions on what Patrick told us last night about manipulating the lanes as the lone lefty. What do you mean by that, Randy?
He takes out a ball with some surface that, and by surface I mean he actually roughs up the surface with sandpaper or some type of sanding pad and actually builds up a friction spot for him to throw it to.
Back to Healey Jr. High at a 4-pin. So is that strategy paid off so far for Allen?
Without question, I think. You know, the righties try to do the same thing, and that's why you saw Chris Barnes and Pat Healey Jr. playing outside, and they burned up a spot from out. And, you know, the players, as normal, attest to, they're always looking for friction, but it has to be in the right spot on the lane. And, you know, without friction, your ball never hooks. It just goes in a straight line. So the players are always trying to get friction and get their ball to the right friction spot somewhere down the lane or laterally.
Well, yeah, in all cases, it's better to be by yourself, in my opinion, because you don't have a whole lot of tracks that other people are building. With Patrick, he has the benefit of going over and creating some wear and tear, and then moving a little right off of it and kind of banking his ball into it. But you still have to make the shots. You know, we're talking a title match here against Patrick Healey Jr. Shots have to be made.
Yeah, without question. I mean, even if you do help yourself, what are you helping yourself by? An inch? Still have to pry it off and throw good shots.
Game of precision.
Like that one.
No help on the 10-pin. And somehow it wobbles but stands. Patrick has not won since 03 we told you about. Got by our Eddie Peterson in the finals, the Dexter Tournament of Champions that year, 222-188. After he knocked off, guess who, guys, in the semis? Chris Barnes, whom he beat today. That day was a 210-192 final, so perhaps good luck charm to beat Barnes in the semi and then maybe take out the lefty Patrick Allen here in the finals.
Norman, what's disturbing at the last shot that Pat Healey threw was it kind of puked, meaning it kind of rolled out and quit and hit weak.
Good deal, dude.
Patrick Allen, on the other hand, all he's doing is swinging pins all over the back part of the lane there.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Power into the pins is huge when you're talking about consistent carry, and when you see a ball labor about 45 feet as Patrick Healey Jr.'s ball just did, that can't be good. I don't see Patrick having that problem. Patrick Allen.
That is a perfect shot.
And that would be the difference right there, Randy. About 45 feet down the lane, this ball makes a turn and digs straight at the 1-2 pocket. It's digging.
But the big difference to me is ball speed. I mean, PA is much firmer, a little bit lower rev rate, I would imagine, and he's able to retain more energy as his ball enters the pocket because of ball speed, whereas Patrick Healey is a little bit softer, a little bit heavier roll, a little bit more higher rev rate. And so his ball's kind of burning up when he gets there.
Good analogy.
13 of 21 shows. Wow. Some super southpaws out there. Look out! Oh, it's almost a 7-10. Just the 10-pin. What a momentum changer that would have been.
He was running this one out, too.
Oh, he sure liked it. It kind of got lucky at the last. Unlucky, of course, at the first. But he's looking at 9 spare. He's still right in this match. That could have been a lot worse if that 7-pin had stood.
He knows how close it was.
No time for that right now, Dave.
No, you don't want that happening now. You think a solid 8's bad. Leave a pocket 7-10. Throw a great shot, and you can't even get a spare out of it.
It takes you 3 frames to make up for it, maybe. Good shot.
There's the 10-pin in the mark. And, gentlemen, we'd like to thank Denny's and all of our PBA sponsors for helping bring you this match without interruption. Well, semifinals and the final.
It's the first time in 25 years, I think, for me, that we've bowled an entire match without commercial? I can't remember the last time.
Me either.
It's been great. 6th frame, Healey Jr. works on a spare. Down 12.
That better roll up.
7 pin.
That wasn't crisp. Could have struck, I guess, but it wasn't crisp.
Norm, what do you do if you're Pat Healey Jr. at this point? Down by 12, 6th frame. What do you do?
Well, you know, besides hoping for that 7-10 to stand up by your opponent, you just, you know, you just got to keep doing what you're doing, Randy. And, you know, last game he did exactly the same thing as this and struck out for 250. I think he's got it in him.
Just got to bear down and make better shots.
Exactly.
Things got a lot better for Patrick Healey Jr. in the semi against Barnes on that right lane. The last few shots he threw there. So we'll see if he can amp it up and start striking. That's what he needs.
One thing I would like to point out is all 4 of the players today, aside from splits, there are no open frames. They are all very, very good spare shooters, and that's a key to keep you in the matches.
Yeah, you can't be at this level on this tour without being a good spare shooter.
Solid.
How about the help?
Solid. His A shot.
Hitting up on it or off it didn't work either.
And it's still a weak 10, even though the messenger kind of came halfway across, but that ball is rolling out and quitting. I think he needs to tip it just a little bit more, get his hand around the side just a little bit more to get that ball to continue. What do you think?
Well, that's one of the options I think he has. He could also move right and throw a lot more ball speed, you know, and get power in the pins that way. The big thing is he told us in the opening that he had to stay on top of the lane conditions. That's what he's trying to do.
Figure out something.
The Honda Indy Grand Prix on ESPN, 3:30 Eastern.
And there's the difference. He hits the pocket or a little half pocket. 4-pin goes to the sidewall, cuts the 7 out.
Patrick Healey Jr. is leaving those 10 pins. No corner pins for PA, and that's the difference thus far. Watch this. 2nd pin to your left, sidewall behaves perfectly, and it's 10 in the pit.
Well, you know, this game, Patrick Allen has only struck 1 time on the left lane. So he may be having the same issues as Patrick Healey is on the right. It just looks better, you know, the 7-10 just looks like it hit harder. But he's still getting 9 from him.
Works on a strike. 8th frame. This match still very much up for grabs.
Stay behind it.
Perfect shot for PA.
Exactly. Perfect shot.
Yeah. Right now, Pat Healey Jr. is working on 5 9 spares in a row. And in my opinion, Norm, to have any chance to win this tournament, he needs to strike out. 17 times in the pocket, 12 strikes.
Does he have it in? Yes.
Yeah, he strikes out. He shoots 234.
I'm sorry, 235. That would force PA to get another hit, or 9 spare and a double in the 10th. That put him in the high 230s. But
and you know, Patrick Healey Jr. did exactly what you said. He needs to move in a little bit. He needs to get around the side of the ball a little bit to respond off the long friction area. He did it. It worked perfectly. That might make a difference.
Stay, 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 stay.
It did not stay, Patrick. It comes high, and now the disastrous split.
And you hear him say he was trying to make it hit, trying to make it hit. He did. It did look like he got his hand a little more on the side, but he didn't make a big enough move to the left, Norm. He's got to allow for more back-end reaction. I'm sure he probably moved some, but didn't anticipate his ball hooking that hard back part of the lane.
4-10 split, guys, and he's not made one all week. 0 for 7. Can he find it here? Oh, Sewell kicked it across the deck, but missed the 10. Open frame in the 9th foundation frame. Absolutely disastrous. The lead balloons to 36 pins for Patrick Allen, and the door is wide open now for him.
Right.
Walk through for a win.
Dandy Don Meredith time here with any kind of.
Are you going to sing for us?
No, Lord, no, I'm not going to do that.
Come on now.
Chicken.
We're joined here in the booth by the great Norm Duke and Randy Peterson, of course, as usual. Norm winning his first ever Harry Smith Points Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Leading the tour this year.
That's exciting for me.
Good enough? Turn out the lights, the party's over.
So you did the singing. I knew someone would. 46-pin lead and just 2 now needed for PA to earn his 7th career Denny's PBA Tour title.
This is what makes it all fun. All the pressure, all of the nerves, and you come through like a true champion. You make the shot you need to make. That's what it's all about, man. That's the best feeling in the world when you're out here on the tour.
Yeah, then you get the victory lap here, which is always good. You know, Brian Voss always wants to win in the 10th. I'd like to win early.
He needed 2. He got 10, and he has himself his 7th career title. We'll take a break now and come back. Career best 6th TV appearance of the season, and a 2nd title goes to Patrick Allen, 259-193, a winner over Patrick Healey Jr., joined now by Randy Peterson.
Congratulations, Patrick. Can you describe your feelings right now?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's been a long season, and this was a tough week to watch. You know, for the guys trying to get exempt, and you know, to make the show and to win this late in the season for title number 2. You know, after the last year I had, you know, it's kind of gratifying to maybe sound some of the critics that thought that I was a one-year wonder.
Now, Patrick, you made a great adjustment from the first match to the second match. Tell us about it.
How'd you know I made an adjustment?
Because I used to bowl for a living.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually threw the same ball, but it was a different layout. I'm pretty impressed that you saw that. But they just started to break down a little bit, and I was really leaving a lot of half 7 pins in practice, and I really hadn't thrown that ball much the whole week. But I kind of decided that, you know, I had better give it a look, and it struck a lot, you know, right before we started bowling, and so you have it.
Great move by a great champion. Patrick, congratulations. Dave?
Thanks, Randy. Norm, your thoughts on the day?
Well, you know, Pat told us in an interview earlier in the day that he is going to try to take advantage of the opportunities when he gets them. That's one of his strengths, is when he sees a little bit of openings, like Tiger Woods in a sense, that he just pounds you.
Norm, next week, competing in the Dexter Tournament of Champions, Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, final event of our season final major. Denny's PBA Tour rolls on 1 Eastern next week. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Special thanks to Norm Duke joining us today in the booth. And for Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Spectrum Lanes outside Grand Rapids, Michigan. Coming up next, Night School here on ESPN. What a day for PA.